What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm doing a little bit of driving, so I thought I would do kind of a Q&A. So just a little update first before we get into it. A lot of people have been watching our new Hill County Barndominium tour video. Number one, just get a little bit of announcements out of the way. It's doing really well. Just people are flocking to the channel. We're so excited anytime we can do one of these videos. And we, have just been trying to get these out to you guys, but we've got a lot of builds that we're working on still. So I don't know, we'll see which one's going to be the next one, but I think the one for the Tundra Barndominium and possibly the Joshua Barndominium. These are some that I know are going to kind of be next in line, so you're going to be watching out for those. Also, another thing to keep in mind is all of our social media has been on the rise. So we did a little contest as well. I'll show you guys this. But we've got these hats on our Instagram. We're actually about to finish up with our giveaway on that. So we'll be drawing some names for everybody that shared mentioned us in a story and said follow Texas Best Construction. But you have to put the tag on there so it'll link to us and we'll even know about it, because if you don't, we won't know. So anyways, just get that out of the way. That's kind of going on. Check out all of our links in the description below. On to the Q&A. Basically, we kind of get grilled a lot about cost for building, and so I'm going to kind of combine a couple of questions with basically one person was saying, what are the advantages of building this way? I absolutely love the style. I love everything about it. But, why would it be better to build a barndominium as opposed to a conventional frame house? And then had another guy that said, I've always heard that barndominiums are cheaper, so based on your cost video, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are cheaper. So what are the advantages of building a barndominium? And so to kind of totally answer this question, I'd have to just start with number one, saying yes, there are a lot of, first of all, let me preface this with this, that there's a lot of misconceptions about barndominiums being cheaper, also maybe being more expensive, if that's your assumption. It all comes down to style, preference of style. And I would say this: if you love everything about the barndominium, if you love the idea of it, you love the shop mixed with living, you love having all of that brought together in the style and the nature and the way that it is done, then building a barndominium, that's the advantage to build what you want. So there's a lot of different reasons. People, number one, advantages. Having your stuff close by, whether it be your shop, let's say you're a welding fabricator, or let's say you like to work on cars, or you're retiring and you want to have all your ATV stuff right there close by. So that's one advantage, is the shop and close proximity with where you're building. Number two might be the open, expansive space that you can create with the shell of a metal style building, which is different than your conventional framing. Your conventional framing, you're not going to get near as durable of a product by doing stick frame as you would with the steel frame and then the wood attached. So that's another advantage. So is the open spaces that you can create, say over a living room, kitchen area, what have you. Thirdly, I would say the advantages are going to be having to be able to easily create a envelope with the insulation surrounding the build without having all the cut up and the different shapes. A lot of these are energy loss and dead zones is what I would call them when it comes to energy and recycling air. You know, a lot of that kind of stuff becomes a little bit of an advantage as well. Let's see, another advantage, especially for single dwelling, is the main weight of your structure is on a lot of your exterior perimeter, with the exception of, say, where you might put a fireplace or something like that. So, you know, that's why it's been so popular in the past for people to just build a shell and all of their major weight goes on the exterior walls, and then everything on the interior is kind of light load. And a lot of people might not do much for their foundation in that regards, but on our builds, every slab that we build is an engineered foundation. So you'll see this waffle-like pattern that is put in to our foundation, which is basically deep grade beams that are 12 by 24 inches deep, and then footers for all of the vertical columns. So I would say one of the major advantages next is the energy efficiency that you can create in the predictable shape of your product with the insulation and spray foam going all the way around. That is a major advantage, and it's a lot of times what you're doing is you're trading your brick and mortar for efficiencies. So let's say you spent the same kind of money on a conventional style house. You had just as much square footage on the inside, but when it was all said and done, because of the money that you trade from having, say, brick and mortar, you put on the envelope, the energy efficiency, the air tightness, you know, taking all these methods approach, maybe going with the higher SEER HVAC system, ERV system, you know, going to those lengths would help you to have less money on the maintenance as far as the monthly expenses. So that's an advantage. So a lot of people don't take into consideration those advantages. So you may pay the same amount of money on the front end, but your day-to-day operations or your expenses are actually less. So anyways, those are just a few off the top of my head. Some of the other advantages are obviously the style. I mean, a lot of people love it. For some people, Barndominium's not for them. They want, you know, a different feel, a different look. I would say this: you don't have to limit the term Barndominium to the exterior shell being metal. Like with the way that we build, you know, we could technically achieve doing brick and mortar on the outside as well. We could do stone. We could do a mixture of EIFS and stucco. You know, there's ways that you can enhance or change the style when it's all said and done. In fact, on our hilltop Barndominium, we're going to be mixing it up and having some of those things. I think there'll be a mixture of EIFS and maybe tile or some decorative steel. So those are some things that you can do if you are willing to be creative or have a designer or somebody that can help you with that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about building custom home versus maybe buying something that's already in the rhythm of spec builders, or somebody who's building a lot of the same plan, or, obviously those are priced according to a predictable environment. Building a barndominium is not a predictable environment. It is something that it takes some special coordination to build a barndominium. So, I mean, in some ways it's more difficult because of all of the added steps. It would be easier for me technically if I wanted to go build a home to build a conventional style home. You think about it. Pour the concrete, go bring out my wood framers, do the wood framing, dry it in, put the roof on, start on the exterior immediately, and windows, all that kind of stuff. I mean, all that can just lock in. Well, in our case, especially when we have shops, there's more coordination involved. Like, we have to do our steel framing, then we have to come back, coordinate doing our wood framing. So there's another added step there alone that takes special coordination. And a lot of times we'll do our roof separately from our walls so that we can get our windows in there, but everything has its challenges, let's put it that way. But ultimately, the advantage of building a barndominium is that's what you want. So I hope this really helps with the discussion. If there's additional questions you guys might have, put it down in the comments below. We're excited. We just rolled over 10,000 followers on Instagram. So we want to say yippee for that. And, our YouTube account continues to grow, and on TikTok and all these other Facebook. So if you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, I hope you'll do that now. Also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Josh Helm, wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching. Texas Best.